You could be mistaken for thinking that you're watching an interview from Hello magazine, but here we are at the house of David Jackson. And this is the man himself.
Hello, I'm recommending Lily today. Oh, sorry, Illy today.
Illy. Sorry to disturb you in your cafetiere, but so the reason we're here with David is he's agreed to do one of our famous Time Spanner podcasts, and there's something a bit more special about today because today it is David Jackson's birthday.
Many happy returns.
Thank you very much, Richard.
And this is a very special interview, isn't it?
It is my birthday, my 61st birthday interview. The first I've done this birthday.
Tell us a bit about Graaf Generator.
Yeah, I can tell you about Graaf Generator. Graaf Generator was something that was going to happen. I felt, whatever. I ended up studying psychology. I was going to study teaching and all sorts of different things that I was thinking about doing when I left school and became mature. But I'd made friendships when I was at school that were hooks, were links. And there came a point in time where Van der Graaf were looking for a saxophone player and a flute player, and my name came up. But my name came up to them because of old friendships that were made when we were teenagers. Whatever I did, I was going to be in Van der Graaf. I felt that. It was destiny. And I fitted in the band exceptionally well. We had a kind of audition and nobody said anything at the end of the audition. And I said, well, am I in the band? And everybody just shrugged. As if it's like, you know, it's inevitable. And we went on and had quite a successful career.
Can you tell us about the Soundbeam, David?
The Soundbeam. Again, a bit like the other things in my life that were really exciting. You know, something that there was a day when it was introduced to Soundbeam by a man called Tim Swingler, who came to bring a Soundbeam to my project called The Ark at South Hill Park Arts Centre, and he demonstrated it, and he went to lunch, and I said, I'm not hungry today, just must do a little bit of work in the studio. So I just worked with the Soundbeam all lunch. You know, I wanted to see how it works, so I wanted to fix it. And when he came back, I said, can I do it myself? Because I want to try it. If I'm going to buy it, I need to try it. Good blind, that. So I then did some workshops with 2 groups in the afternoon using the Soundbeam, and at the end of it Tim said, wow, I didn't know it was that good. I said, it's great, I want it. So I bought it, and I've been working with it since that day, which was 1991. This is my 17th year doing Soundbeam. It never fails to amaze me. As an instrument in its own right, and in the potential that it has for use with other people. So those 2 things together make it as important to me as that little bamboo flute, as important to me as that saxophone in the cupboard that changed my life. That day when I found I found out what Soundbeams are and how they can work, it's changed my life, and it has become my business now. It's become my calling. It's what I do, and I can't ever see me saying, oh, I finished with Soundbeam now. I'm not going to finish with flutes, I'm not going to finish with saxophones. I don't think I'd ever finish with a Soundbeam. That's part of who I am.
David, can you tell us more about Twinkle, please?
Twinkle is an opera about Greek mythology for 150 children. 15 of them need to be disabled. They have to play Greek gods. They have to be in heaven. They have to control strange electronic devices. They have to make all the music in the world. So their job is to make music, to keep a mad despot, Zeus, off their backs and happy. But there's nothing they can do really to please him because he's mad, and they come up with the idea of making pictures in the sky to keep him quiet, because he says that the sky at night is absolutely, totally boring. It's worse than a teenager's bedroom.
David, one final question. What have been the high points of your long and varied career?
Okay. Well, I have to... When I was a child, I sang in many cathedrals. I was a soloist. My voice didn't break till I was 17 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, I was worried, man. I was worried. But it did break. It did break. It did break. I am a man. It did break. But I sang in, I don't know, loads of different cathedrals. I was, you know, like an Aled Jones of my day. I was a fantastic singer. I loved singing, especially in cathedrals, you know, being a soloist. It was just marvellous. And by the time you're 17 and a half, you get quite reliable and quite good, so I was quite good. But during that strange period, then I learned to play the saxophone, so learning to play the saxophone was great. John Coltrane was a highlight of my musical career, discovering John Coltrane. That then you got your Van der Graaf, which is obviously very successful. We were massive in Italy. We had a #1 record, and numero uno in Italy. 17 weeks. You know, a high point in your career is you get out of a car at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning to get a coffee, and somebody says, "Hey, Jackson!" Somebody recognises you because you're on the front of every paper. So I was very well known in Italy. That's a high point in my career. Next was when I left the band and started to become a teacher, and I started to write things for children. And when I was actually writing music for children, and that they were received and used for big projects, where all the children in the town were singing my songs, was, hey, wow. You know, I felt really, really satisfied by that. And then the final phase, if you can say that, what's the final phase? The final phase is getting a lot of success as a community musician, involving profoundly disabled people and profoundly disabled people, and presenting them at major concerts. I think, you know, some of the gigs that I've done with disabled people at Queen Elizabeth Hall, the Lighthouse in Poole, and lots of big concert halls. You know, when you see 400 or 500 people standing and clapping, disabled people performing the most moving gig you've ever been to in your life, and I can just disappear into the shadows. I'm always at the back, and I just step back and think, God, that's amazing. You know, that was amazing. And there is never a dry, you know, in the house. And what is music about? It's about profound emotional experience. And all of the things I've talked about are profoundly emotional experiences.